Jaya Jaya Sri Caitanya Jaya Nityananda.
Jaya Jaya Sri
Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya
Nityananda.
Jaya
Nityananda
Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda.
Jaya Dvaita
Jaya
Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda
Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda.
Jaya Jaya Sri
Sri
Chaitanya
Chaitanya
Jaya
Jaya Nityananda.
Nityananda
Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda.
Jaya
Jaya
Jaya Chandra Jaya Gaura.
Gaura Bhakta Vrinda
Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda.
Jaya
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 Sri
Sri
Chaitanya
Chaitanya Jaya
Nityananda.
Jaya
Nityananda
Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda.
Jaya
Jaya
Dvaita
Dvaita
Chandra
Chandra
Jaya
Jaya
Gaura
Gaura
Bhakta
Bhakta
Vrinda.
श्री चैतन्य चरितामृत की जय।
Jai
श्रील कृष्णदास कविराज गोस्वामी जय।
Jai
Jai
श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय।
Jai
समवेत गौर भक्त वृंद की जय।
Jai.
ओम अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जन शलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। श्री चैतन्य मनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपः कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna, dear devotees, welcome to today's Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita reading. Today is the day when Srila Prabhupada accepted sannyas. Today is Bhadra Purnima, so all of you know the glories of Bhadra Purnima. And also today is the day when it's called Vishwarupa Mahotsava. That means today is the day when Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's older brother Vishwarup has accepted sannyas. So today means for you it will be tomorrow morning. So for us it's already today. So
Bhadra Purnima means rasa dance. Is that the time? No.
Bhadra Purnima is the day when you gift Srimad Bhagavatam. Anyone
Oh, it
gives the Srimad
starts.
Bhagavatam on this day, yeah,
Oh.
goes back to Godhead, like that. So for the past several days, they have set up big pandals here, and every day the glories of Bhadra Purnima are being discussed at the Mayapur temple uh, of distributing Srimad Bhagavatam. So today is that day. And so just in short, before we begin our Chaitanya Charitamrita reading, the acceptance of sannyas by Sri Vishwarup today. So Vishwarup was from his so first of all, who is Vishwarup? Vishwarup is an expansion of Lord Nityananda Prabhu. And there is some more details given by some uh, teachers about the identity of Vishwarup. So he is an expansion of Nityananda Prabhu, and after he accepted sannyas, why did he accept sannyas, Vishwarup? Because he was so absorbed in devotional life, in the scriptures, in the association of devotees, that he showed no interest in family life. Family life means even, he wouldn't stay at home. He would go to Advaitacharya's home in the morning after taking bath, and then he would just stay there all day discussing Krishna Katha. And at lunchtime, he would have to, Nimai would have to go and call him that prasadam is ready, come home. And then he would go home, eat quickly, and then come back again to Advaita Acharya's home. So the father was concerned, Jagannath Mishra was concerned that he doesn't stay at home at all. He simply keeps, he's always, so we want him, now is the time. If we get him married to a beautiful wife, then he will stay at home. That will keep him at home. So thinking like this, they started looking for a girl, and Vishwarup overheard his parents talking like this, and he decided that he didn't want to get entangled in the householder life. So then he just, that night he left home. He left home to take sannyas. So that the day when he left, that is today, Bhadra Purnima day. And in some other places, it is said that after he left home, he accepted sannyas in Varanasi. And you know, sannyasis just travel, and he accepted the name Shankararanya. And he was traveling, and finally he arrived in Pandharpur, and there he uh, ended his pastimes. That means we would say giving up body, but he doesn't have a material body. He's an expansion of Lord Nityananda Prabhu. So he ended his pastimes there in Pandharpur. And some say that today is the day when he actually ended his pastimes in Pandharpur. So, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur said that actually it is the day when he accepted sannyas. Vishwarup Mahotsav is the day when he accepted sannyas. Nevertheless, there's also a possibility that both incidents happened on the same day in different years. Today is the day when he accepted sannyas, and today is the day when he actually gave up, ended the worldly pastimes. And after that, after giving up, it is said Vishwarup entered into Nityananda Prabhu's body. So then he was there as, you know, in Nityananda Prabhu, like that. And another explanation about the identity of Vishwarup is said that he is actually a Prakasha expansion of the Mula Sankarshan. Mula Sankarshan is Lord Baladev. So he is a Prakasha expansion. So he is from him, and he further, so that means he is the, you know, Mahavishnu, from whom Karanodakashaya Vishnu, then Garbhodakashaya Vishnu, or Mahasankarshan, from whom Karanodakashaya Vishnu expands, from Karanodakashaya Vishnu, Garbhodakashaya Vishnu, and then from Garbhodakashaya Kshirodakashaya Vishnu. So he is the source of all three Vishnus. He expands into Karanodakashaya, Garbhodakashaya, and Kshirodakashaya Vishnu. This is the identity of Vishwarup, and today is the day when he accepted sannyas. With that, and also today is the day when Srila Prabhupada accepted sannyas. So Srila Prabhupada accepted sannyas from his god brother on this day. He had already given up, he had already left home, and for several years he was living as a Vanaprastha, traveling and trying to preach. Then he came to Vrindavan, and still he was trying to preach. But today is the day when he accepted sannyas. And even after accepting sannyas also, you know, we read in Leelamrita the struggles that he underwent trying to serve under his god brothers in different Gaudiya maths, like that. Okay, so let's continue our reading of Sri Caitanya Caritamrita. We were reading in Caitanya Caritamrita that, so this is still, we are in the first chapter of Madhya Leela. So first chapter of Madhya Leela is giving us a table of contents of what all are going to come in Madhya Leela and Antya Leela. So Madhya Leela, Antya Leela constitute the sannyas pastimes of Mahaprabhu. And then Madhya Leela is the traveling pastimes of Mahaprabhu. After accepting sannyas, how for 6 years he traveled to South India, then he went to Jagannath Puri. I'm sorry, he was in Jagannath Puri. So from South India, he came back to Jagannath Puri. He went to Varanasi and then he went to Vrindavan. So all these pastimes constitute the Madhya Leela. And then after traveling, after 6 years, for the remaining 18 years, he continuously stayed in Jagannath Puri. And within those 18 years, for 6 years, he was performing congregational chanting with the devotees and setting example of the highest devotee for his devotees to follow. So during these 6 years, although he himself didn't travel, he sent different devotees to different places to preach. He sent Nityananda Prabhu to Bengal and he sent Rup Goswami, Sanatan Goswami to Vrindavan. So then, and he gave them instructions to set the highest standard of deity worship, to excavate the Leela Sthalis, places of pastimes of Radha Krishna, and erect temples, and also to give literature, bhakti literature, giving the conclusion of the scriptures. So in that context, we saw the books written by these Goswamis, a few of the books. They've written a lot of books, but we saw the books written by Sanatan Goswami, like Hari Bhakti Vilas, and books written by Rupa Goswami, like Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, and the books written by Jiva Goswami, like the Shat Sandarbhas, Gopal Champu. And Srila Prabhupada in the purport actually gave us the list of all the contents that are there in each of these books. So then we just concluded with that. Now we will continue reading from there. We read about the books written by Srila Jiva Goswami. That was the last thing we read. এই মাতা নানা গ্রন্থ করিয়া প্রকাশ গোষ্ঠী সহিতে কৈলা বৃন্দাবনে বাস. Thus Srila Rupa Goswami, Sanatan Goswami and their nephew Srila Jiva Goswami, as well as practically all of their family members, lived in Vrindavan and published important books on devotional service. Also, one more important point that was said about the books written by the Goswamis and the method of worship, method of devotional service that they propagated. It is said that they brought all the Vedic literatures with them, and after scrutinizingly studying all the Vedic literatures, they gave the conclusion of that, the essence of that, in the form of the devotional practices and the books that they have presented. So nothing was done whimsically, nothing was done, without every statement written by the Goswamis is substantiated by scriptural evidence. So it's very, very authentic. प्रथम वत्सरे अद्वैतादि भक्तगण प्रभुरे देखिते कोइलो नीलाद्रि गमना. Okay, so that was about the devotees that were sent to Vrindavan, and now Mahaprabhu is staying in Puri. So what is happening there? The first year after Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu accepted the renounced order of life, all the devotees headed by Sri Advaita Prabhu went to see the Lord at Jagannath Puri. So now, first of all, we got an overview of the Madhya Leela and Shesha Leela. Just like when you see the summary of Srimad Bhagavatam chapters that Srila Prabhupada gives, the first couple of lines, one line or two lines, gives you a general overview of the whole chapter, and then the next paragraphs give you detailed overview of the chapter, summary of the chapter, and then we actually go shloka by shloka in detail. So similarly here also, first generally like a bird's eye view of the whole Madhya Leela and Antya Leela. What exactly is there in Madhya Leela and Antya Leela? So Madhya Leela means this, Antya Leela means this. Now again, a further in sequence, what happened first, what happened next, like that. So the first year, after Mahaprabhu took sannyas and went to Jagannath Puri, what happened? The first year after Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu accepted the renounced order of life, all the devotees headed by Sri Advaita Prabhu went to see the Lord at Jagannath Puri. So all the devotees from Navadvip, headed by Advaita Acharya, went to see Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in Jagannath Puri, the first year after he took sannyas. So he took sannyas in Magh. And when does Rath Yatra happen? June, July. So that time they went. Rath Yatra dekhitaha rahila chari masa Prabhu sange nritya gita parama ullasa. After attending the Rath Yatra ceremony at Jagannath Puri, all the devotees remained there for 4 months, Chaturmas. For those 4 months, they just stayed in Jagannath Puri, greatly enjoying the company of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu by performing kirtan, chanting and dancing. So they would do kirtan with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, exactly like how they would be doing in Srivasangan in Navadvip. Now they were doing in Jagannath Puri with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And this was their highest pleasure, greatest pleasure. विदाय समय प्रभु कोहिला सवारे प्रत्यब्द आसीबे सबे गुंडीचा देखी बारे. At the time of departure, the Lord requested all the devotees, please come here every year to see the Rath Yatra festival of Lord Jagannath's journey to the Gundicha temple. So they came for Rath Yatra, and after Rath Yatra they stayed back for 4 months until the end of Kartik. And then now it's time to go back to their homes and do their respective, take care of their duties. So then Mahaprabhu said, please, you should come every year to attend Rath Yatra. That means every year they will come and they will stay 4 months with Mahaprabhu. Please come every year to attend the Rath Yatra of Lord Jagannath's journey to Gundicha temple. Purport. There is a temple named Gundicha at Sundarachala. Lord Jagannath, Baladev and Subhadra are pushed in their 3 cars from the temple in Puri to the Gundicha temple in Sundarachala. In Orissa, this Rath Yatra festival is known as Jagannath's journey to Gundicha, whereas others speak of it as Rath Yatra festival. The residents of Orissa refer to it as Gundicha Yatra, right? Others call it Ratha Yatra, but the residents of Orissa, devotees of Orissa, call it Gundicha Yatra, because this is the Yatra, the journey of Mahaprabhu to Gundicha. Prabhu Agyaya Bhakta Gana Pratyabda Asiya Gundicha Dekhiya Yana Prabhu Re Miliya. Following the order of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, all the devotees used to visit Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu every year. They would see the Gundicha festival at Jagannath Puri and then return home after 4 months. So this became their annual schedule. Every year they would come to attend Gundicha festival, which is nothing but Rath Yatra. They call it Gundicha Yatra. So every year they would come to attend the Gundicha festival, and after the festival they just stay back for 4 months with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and then they would go home every year. We have yatras for 10 days, 1 week. They had yatras for 4 months every year. That's fun. Prabhu Agyaya Bhakta Gana Pratyabda Asiya Gundicha Dekhiya Yana Prabhu Re Miliya. Following the order of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, all the devotees used to visit Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu every year. They would see the Gundicha festival at Jagannath Puri and then return home after 4 months. Vimshati Vatsara Aiche Koila Gata Gati Anyonye Duhara Duha Vina Nahi Sthiti. For 20 consecutive years, this meeting took place. Amazing, huh? For 20 consecutive years, every year for 20 years, the devotees would go to Puri, stay there for 4 months and come back. For 20 consecutive years, this meeting took place. And the situation became so intense that the Lord and the devotees could not be happy without meeting one another. Yes. So they could just not survive without seeing each other. It became so intense. Amazing. 20 years. Shesha Arajairohe Dwadasha Vatsara Krishnera Viraha Lila Prabhura Antara. The last 12 years were simply devoted to relishing the pastimes of Krishna in separation within the heart of the Lord. Okay, Priyanka Haripriya Mataji's question is, I'm a little confused. Didn't Lord Chaitanya go for South India Yatra for 6 years after sannyas, or Lord will come to Puri? Uh, no, he went for 6 years. That's right. Because it is said consecutive. But even if the Lord went, when the Lord went to South India, he didn't take the devotees with him. They would still come to Puri. It is said that they came to Puri for 20 consecutive years. So even when Mahaprabhu went to South India, they would still come to Puri for Rath Yatra. Devotees would come together. I'm thinking. But
Okay, Mataji, yeah.
yeah, we'll find more details when we read in detail. But for 24 years, Mahaprabhu was in sannyas, performed pastimes as a sannyasi. So of those 24 years, the last 12 years, the last 12 years was simply devoted to relishing the pastimes of Krishna in separation within the heart of the Lord. So that means devotees were still coming then also, the last 12 years. But now, during this time, Mahaprabhu was more internal, right? So the last 12 years was simply devoted to relishing the pastimes of Krishna in separation within the heart of the Lord. Purport. Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu enjoyed the position of the gopis in separation from Krishna. When Krishna left the gopis and went to Mathura, the gopis cried for him the rest of their lives, feeling intense separation from him. This ecstatic feeling of separation was specifically advocated by Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu through his actual demonstrations. Yes, isn't that the confidential reason why Mahaprabhu or Krishna appeared as Mahaprabhu? There are external reasons and confidential reasons. The confidential reason is to understand the love of Srimati Radharani, to experience the love of Srimati Radharani, and not experience the love as the ashraya, as the receiver of that love, but to experience it as the lover, as the subject, not as the object. Lord Krishna is experiencing Srimati Radharani's love as the object of that love, but he wants to taste what it feels like to be the subject of that love, like the one who is actually loving. He wants to experience being in Radharani's position. So Radharani is the topmost gopi. All the gopis were feeling intense separation from Krishna. So now the last 12 years of Mahaprabhu's pastimes are completely dedicated to this mood of separation from Krishna experienced by the gopis. So this ecstatic feeling of separation was specifically advocated by Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu through his actual demonstrations. So devotees could actually see the transformations that the devotee goes through, or that Srimati Radharani was going through in separation from Krishna. They could actually see that in Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So he was advocating this topmost bhakti through his personal uh, behavior, demonstrations. निरंतर रात्रि दिन विरह उन्मादे हासे कांदे नाचे गाए परम विषादे. In the attitude of separation, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared mad both day and night. Sometimes he laughed and sometimes he cried. Sometimes he danced and sometimes he chanted in great sorrow. So the highest stage is Srimati Radharani's love is the highest love. She has this Mahabhava which is not found in anyone else. Only in Srimati Radharani and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So that everyone got to see. So this is what happens there. In attitude of separation, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared mad both day and night. Sometimes he laughed, sometimes he cried, sometimes he danced, and sometimes he chanted in great sorrow. Je kale kore na Jagannath darshana, mane bhave kurukshetre payachi milana. At those times, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would visit Lord Jagannath. When he was in great feeling of separation, he would visit Lord Jagannath. Then his feelings exactly corresponded to those of the gopis when they saw Krishna at Kurukshetra after long separation. Krishna had come to Kurukshetra with his brother and sister to visit. So Jagannath is Krishna in Dwaraka. Actually, Krishna in Dwaraka in separation from the Vrajvasis, that is Jagannath. Of course, he's a king, but his heart is his longing. He's feeling great separation from Vrajvasis. So when Krishna came during the solar eclipse, along with not just Krishna, Krishna came with all his family members and also from Hastinapur, everyone came to Kurukshetra, Samanta Panchaka. So at that time, the Brajvasis had also come on the pretext of this solar eclipse. So all the gopis, the Nanda Maharaj, Yashodamai, everyone got to see Krishna for the first time after he left for Mathura. And by now he had so many queens, and he was coming with on the elephants. So what was the condition of the gopis? They actually took Krishna to a side and then they started expressing their feelings to him. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when he would feel intense separation, he would go to Jagannath, and his condition was exactly like the gopis when they saw Krishna in Kurukshetra. And Jagannath, Baladev, Subhadra are like Krishna coming from Dwaraka. Krishna, Baladev, Subhadra, everyone coming from Dwaraka on their chariots. And Mahaprabhu became absorbed in the thoughts of the gopis who came to see Krishna at Kurukshetra. रथ यात्राया आगे जबे करे न नर्तन तहा ei padamatra koraye gayana. When Chaitanya Mahaprabhu used to dance before the car during the festival, he always sang the following two lines that we will read tomorrow. There's a significance to these two verses that Mahaprabhu sang at the beginning of Rath Yatra. Thank you, dear devotees. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.